Hello there, outliers. Niiamah here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey here today. We are here for another Outliers Edge live roundtable, and we have none other than Moon Cho with us here today. Moon, I am so grateful for you saying yes, for the experiences that you have, and for your graciousness of being here today. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, and we were talking beforehand, and right before I came on here, I was like, I feel like this is a standing up kind of conversation. I like there's a lot of energy and a lot of presence that's here. I want to make sure that outliers get a chance to get to know you, Moon. Would you mind letting us know more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Yeah, so I'm Moon Cho. I'm the creator of a blog called Yin and Yang Living. It's all about spiritual and holistic living. And I've been running this blog for a while, and it took me a while to really figure out why I'm doing the blog because I created the blog many years ago because I had a sister named Sun, S-U-N. My name is Moon, and they're both Korean given names. And she passed away many years ago. And
Sorry.
because of her passing, I read, I went on a spiritual and holistic living journey. So over 30 years ago, I went to a Buddhist meditation center in the mountains of Colorado. And I tried to meditate, but I couldn't even meditate for even 1 minute, 2 minute. But as one of the Buddhist monks says, faith is a process and spirituality is a process. But I was always spiritual since I was like a teenager. I was always praying, even though I came from a very agnostic family. And so, when my sister Son, S-U-N, passed, I said, well, I asked Son, I said, what do you want me to do? What is my purpose? Because we're really here for a purpose, a mission, a higher purpose. Our soul is eternal. Our body is temporary. Our soul comes into this body in this time space reality, what you call life, to have physical experiences for lessons for the expansion and growth of the eternal soul. That's the real purpose. That's it. And the way we show up in this life is trying to align with that soul's purpose. Now, many people unfortunately don't align with it because they don't have an awareness of their, in Buddha, they say your nature of true reality, which is your true existential reality, which is that you are a soul that is eternal. And so I, I asked my late sister's Son when after she passed, what do you want me to do? And I got this message like healthy spiritual living or something like that. And I had come back from this Buddhist meditation center, and at the time I thought it was meditation was kind of a joke, but I always had interest in the metaphysical, the spiritual. For some reason, it was something I discovered later. It's in my human design. That's how God made me, for a purpose. And so I said, okay, I'm going to just create a blog called Yin and Yang Living, holistic living, Asian living, whatever, healthy living. And over the years, I realized, I did recipes, I did different things. What I realized that what my archetype is really the universal energetic patterns that you possess and that the universe possesses, is that I'm really a healer, an empowerer for people of the mind, body, and soul. And so I realized, but it took me some years doing yin and yang living because I was so into the white noise of what a lifestyle brand should be. Lifestyle brand should be about, about the rest, and food is very important. Don't get me wrong. The food is medicine, but it's really to zone in on what is my archetype, what did God give me as bestowed upon me that is truly my gift. And my gift is really, I'm an empath, I'm a healer, and then I'm a power. And I heal through empowerment of people so that they could recognize their own, meet their highest potential. And I realized that I'm really great at reading energy for some reason, because that's just the way I was designed. I'm not great at a lot of things, but this is one of the things. And I'm also good at like channeling, like just words, phrases, things that spirit is giving me. And I'm kind of like a Reiki as a channeler of these energetic forces. I'm like kind of this channeler. So I decided that the yin and yang living platform was going to be to empower my fellow humans to meet their highest potential for the healing of the mind, body, and soul. So I really focus on that. And I feel like anything that I do must be in that healing space, whatever it is. So that manifestation could look in different ways. I could heal by going on podcasts. I could heal through technology. I could heal in different ways. It could show up in different ways. But that's the soul's journey. That's the soul's path. And it's to align myself on that path. And every behavior that I take is to align myself on that soul's journey. And that's the game that, as Niiamah says, the game that I'm playing.
Oh, this feels like it feels so fun to hear this, Moon. Not only does it feel fun, but I also feel more aligned inside of me. Like when I hear soul's purpose, I don't say this often here, but like literally, I believe that Outliers Edge is to continue to help people show up and do the thing that they were put on this planet for, right?
Right.
And so, I'm like, and that to me is like the most fun game to play. So when you're talking about that here, and I feel like you found alignment. You found alignment, but you also listened to it. Uh, One of the things you were saying, Moon, is here, and I'll say this. One of my things that comes up is that I've also taken my human design. I just went and I saw what time I was actually born. I think I was off by 30 minutes. So I'm like, or 29 minutes. I'm like, I hope it doesn't change everything all up, you know.
It
But
may or may not, but
yeah,
29 minutes is pretty close. So what is your human design?
so I'll speak to it as best as I like understand and recall
Yeah.
it. So I am. The, I'm going to pull out a bunch of different things. I am a generator, not a
Oh,
manifesting generator. Yeah, so
ooh.
I've learned to really like listen to the sacral. So I'm very big on like the guttural yes or no. I've had a
Yes.
couple different conversations that have helped me understand like it's not like it's go into the world, have an experience, and just like listen to the gut. And it's like, oh no, that's it. That's not it. Or like, all right, yeah, let's move with it. So that's part of my human design. And there's I'm a 5-1, like what that like whatever that like profile type is. I'm a 5-1. And then there's one other thing, and this is the thing that like the 29 minutes. This is what I'm afraid to lose. So I'll say this out loud. I believe I'm the left angle. I might be the right angle, but I'm the left angle cross of distraction. And there's something in there that just like that really lights me up, that I think like this is me, in the sense of I'm here to take people out of the traction that they have in the lives that they don't want, out of the traction that they have, that like, you know, the status quo, um the gravity of the average or the normal, or what we're supposed to like, how things are supposed to be. Like that feels like a tractor beam, and it has people kind of stuck in it. And I feel like
Yeah.
yeah, I'm here on this place to help like distract you. Like I'm here to get you off that and help you get back to what your soul's on this planet to do. And
Yeah.
how are we unleash that? We unleash it.
And that's very common. It's to get trapped in the time space reality, what we call
Mm,
life, because we come into this physical body. And so, because the physical body has the sense of seeing, the sense of smell, the sense of taste, the sense of touch, the sense of hearing, these are physical senses. That's why we want the house, we want the car, we want the material things. Now, there's nothing wrong with material things. I never poo poo money or material things. I never poo poo it. What I'm saying is there's a reason why the human wants that, because we are physical beings. And because we're physical beings, so then we get trapped in the physical world too much. The ego mind gets trapped in that physical world, and we forget about that we are first and foremost a spiritual being.
mm,
That's where we get the trap. Now, doesn't mean that when that doesn't mean that you can't have and you can't pursue material things, but that has to be kind of like, you have to kind of put that as a byproduct of aligning yourself with the soul, because the material things will come as a byproduct. It's just a byproduct of aligning yourself with your soul's journey, because then what's happening is you're opening up your energetic flow to the universal forces that can bring you everything, just about anything and everything. Think about the universe. You're talking about billions of think about the power of God. Think about, look at this billion. We're in one galaxy, which is
mm.
huge. It's infinite. And then you're talking about billions of galaxies. Think about what type of infinite wisdom it takes to do that type of creation. Think about the power and infinite wisdom that it takes. And so we're trying to, as we align ourselves with the infinite part of us, which is that spiritual being, we are truly now, what is it that you cannot manifest at that
Mm,
point? And people
mm,
don't understand this because we're so trapped in the ego mind of this physical time space reality, right? Because if we get that partner, we'll be happy. If we get that house, we'll be happy. If we get that car, we'll be happy. If we get that money, we'll be happy. We're so trapped in that. And I don't blame people for being trapped, because everything in our world and society says that if we have those things, then that makes us worthy. That
mm.
makes us lovable. But you are unconditionally worthy and lovable regardless of whether you have those things or not. But we get so trapped in that myth, in that belief system, because look at the society that we're living. Everything is driven by money, right? Everything's driven by material wealth. Everything's, and so we get trapped in that. And that's when we lose the path of really what the soul wants you, the soul's journey that you're on, and to align with that journey. Because God made each and every one of you in Niiamah beautiful, unique talents and gifts to be expressed in the unique way that Niiamah is going to express it. Nobody's going to express it the way Niiamah is going to express it. Nobody. You could give the same topic and he's going to express it in a very different way, only the way he can do it, because he has a unique, what we call energetic blueprint, human design. And so once we start to align with that truth of who we really are, that's when we become a powerful being.
Mm.
That's when things come to us. That's when we open ourselves to that energetic flow. And that's what we have to remember. And that's really hard to do because we're
Uh,
so, we're trapped in society in this, you know.
well, there's a couple things flowing through for me, like because as you're saying this, Moon, like so I like to actually allow myself to have an experience while we're talking, right? So I'm not just listening to what you're saying. I'm like I'm applying it. I'm saying if this was true right now, what would change for the rest of this conversation? What would it look like to model this level of flow or and beyond? And what's coming for me is like 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 I said, I called out that I stood up at the beginning of this conversation. It's because I realized like, oh, there's an opportunity here, and sitting down is not the place. Like that's going to be me in receipt of it. But what we really need to do is to dance with it, to allow it to actually flow. We need to be in motion with it here. So I'm like, okay, you're going to see me like being in motion. I realize I'm emoting even differently. There was one other thing there was lots of things in there that I want to keep playing with in this conversation, but it was something that struck me, and it was a thought I've never had before, which was you talked about being trapped in our physical bodies and then having this physical experience and going after things from a okay, sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you're right. I did say
yeah,
trapped in one
yeah.
way, but there's nothing wrong with being in the physical. But we
Mm-hmm.
have to understand, because we're meant to be in the physical in this life.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Mm-hmm.
we're here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Otherwise, the soul would not have come in. So there's a
Yes.
really good purpose for that. The thing is that we use the physical as the leader rather than
Mm,
as the slave. It's like you wanted to take it, so it's kind of like it's like you want to bring it to more of the rear, not to the forefront.
yeah.
Now there is absolute purpose in playing second fiddle.
Yeah.
There's a purpose to that. It's like you have your CEO and then you have your employees, right? You want that to be more of your employees, not the CEO. We make
Mm,
it the CEO. And
mm,
that's the problem.
mm,
There's a place for physical. It's because we're in a physical journey that our soul is learning lessons. But we
mm.
make it the leader, not the, I would say employee. So think of it
Yeah.
that way. It does have a
Right.
purpose, but you have to
Right.
put it in its place.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, that's interesting. As you're saying this here, like I have I almost like imagine like a car that's driving you and being like, you sit in the car and then the car is just like, all right, this is where I want to take you, versus like, no, you are the driver, and
Right.
I feel like I'm getting that kind of sense that here, where it's like
Yes.
the physical here is your car, but like you get to drive, you get to choose,
Right.
you get
You
to choose
have
and
to,
call.
and you drive through
Mm-hmm.
the thoughts that you keep repeating,
Mm,
and then you're training the emotions, and the
mm,
emotion is what is signaling out to the universe.
mm,
The frequency.
mm,
So So that's why most people have these limiting beliefs about themselves and their lives, and they've trained them. And I don't blame them. I had for so many years, and I'm still training my mind because of
Mm,
what society is telling us, that we have to have this, we have to have this, we have to have this, then we are worthy, then we are lovable. And that's
ah,
not true. That's a myth. That's a belief system that we have to completely. But look at everything that we are shown on social media, the celebrities that we follow. It's, oh, they have this and they look like this. And if I could mimic that, that means that I will be worthy.
mm,
See, all we want is to be loved and feel worthy. That's it. That's it. That is the essence of us. We want to feel loved and we want to feel worthy. We want to feel accepted. And so
mm.
we're like, well, if we have this, then we'll get that worthiness. If we look like this, then we will get that love. If we have this, you see, it's all conditional. The
Yeah, yeah.
society tells us it's conditional. And all of our messaging that we get from everywhere, whether it's media, social media, whatever, it's saying that.
Yeah, I feel
So
like
think about how, yeah, think about how lost so many of, especially the youth. You know, we have to think about the youth. They're the future. Think about how lost you could get, the youth can get with that type of messaging because they're sponges. They're absorbing.
there's a sadness I feel as you say that. Like I felt like my energy came in a bit, and the sadness that I got in this moment was like when the idea of like the external, like if we have these things then we can be loved and accepted, and the sadness here is like um is what happens when it ends up being true, like what happens when you actually get all the things. Like that felt like being trapped because it's like, well, they actually still don't know me.
Yep.
They haven't actually seen me. They see all these things and they love all these things. And I thought it was going to give me there, but now I'm even more afraid that if they actually see me without all
Yep.
these things,
You
where would
know
I
what?
be?
It's so true. And that's why you see celebrities. Like you saw Whitney Houston. I remember I saw a documentary about her. It was a beautiful documentary. And she was so lost. And she said, I wish I could just be me. That's what she just said. She was a multi-billion dollar, multi-million dollar operation enterprise, right? And she said at one point in that documentary, I just want to be me. Think about what that statement says. What that statement says. So that's why you see a lot of the kids when they become too famous, too young, they're completely lost. Alcohol, drugs, whatever, because it's just, everybody's trying to make money off their backs, right? They're all trying to, and when you're young, you don't know how to discern in a way that puts healthy boundaries around yourself. Everybody's taking advantage of you, right? And you're just a child. What do you know? How do you know how to set those boundaries, right? How do you know when somebody, right? So you don't know. So then by the time you grow up, you're like, oh God, like you've never discovered yourself. So this is why there's a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol in that space, a lot of divorces, right? Because you don't know it takes time to know yourself. And so
Time and courage, I would say, right?
yeah, and
Like,
kind of where we live, we see, Southern California, I see divorces all the time. It's like over 50%. And why is that? When people here have money, they have so much, right? By most people's standards, they look like they're living a dream life. But why are there so many divorces among people who have money? Why there's so much misery among people who have money? So it's the trap of this physical world that we and then there are a lot of people on this planet that they don't understand that they are on a spiritual journey. They don't understand that that's their real purpose. And so that's even worse, because at least if you know that you would actually, make an attempt or try to nurture that part of yourself. But if you have no awareness of that, their soul knows, but it's not in the consciousness, it's not in their conscious awareness.
mm,
Then they're
mm,
truly trapped because they can't even begin to nurture that part of themselves. That, let me tell you, this is not your only life.
mm.
And so when you understand that this is not your only life, you're going to make very different choices in this physical world. That's why we have so much fraud. happening in this world, in this planet, because those people think this is all there is. Look, if every one of us thought that this life is all that there is, I'm sure every single one of us will try to milk this life for everything, right? So I understand where they're coming from. I have compassion for where they're coming. In Buddhism, they call it ignorance. They don't realize that they have multiple lives. They're eternal soul. If they understood that they had eternal lives, they would not conduct themselves in the way they conduct themselves in this life. They would never conduct themselves. And I tell you, I always say to people, the only thing that stops me from doing something that I shouldn't be doing is my spirituality.
Mm.
I know I'm an eternal being. That is what stops me from doing things that I should not be doing to others. That is it.
So
And
like
I'm happy to admit that.
yeah, no, I think what's coming to me as you say this is it's an invitation to outliers, which is just to take that on for a second, like take it on for a bit. Like what would change about the way that you showed up for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of your life, if you took that on here, right? And like what I'm hearing from you, Moon, is like, look, it changes some of my actions. Like, hey, look, there's some things I would do if I wasn't holding something larger in, right? And this is where I think um like the spirituality of being able to be connected to something much larger than this one present experience that we're having really like opens up doors. Like Moon, there's something I wanted to go to. There's two things that have been here. One of them has been staying in the back of my mind for a long time. All right, so I think I'll bring that one up first, and then we'll go to the next thing. So the the place I want to go to afterwards is like for the people who like acknowledge that that acknowledge what you're saying. Like, how do they continue to grow with it? I want to go to this part where you talked about like you started out the blog years ago and you didn't know what it was at first. I think that there was something really interesting in that right now because like if people go and they look at you, outliers, go find Moon out there. Moon, do you mind just sharing what your like where outliers can find you right now?
You can find me at yinandyangliving.com, yinandyangliving.com, YINANDYANGLIVING.com is my website. And my Instagram handle, a lot of people follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on YouTube. It's Yin and Yang Living. So just look
Perfect.
up Yang Living and you'll see my Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. But
Yeah.
so
So I see this here. So outliers, go do that. And what comes to me is um the element of you being like, I didn't know what the purpose was at first. You were doing things, you were sharing things, you were there was something going, but like it feels like like over time it evolved into what it needed to be. And I kind of want to just like
yes,
spend a little bit of time in that space there because I think there's a lot of outliers right now that like, especially when we start talking about your soul's purpose, like why are you here? They're like, I don't know. And they're like, so should I start? Should I do
yeah,
anything? Like where do I go? And so would you mind just talking a bit about like your journey in here,
yeah.
like or like what you've seen from that?
Yeah, and because everything's about the journey. It's never about the destination because the soul is eternal. So it's not about and because we are in this physical world, there's a time and there's a space. So lots of billionaires say, my time is everything because they're trying to maximize the physical part of them, but the soul part of them is eternal. And so what's happening is that when we when we shift our meaning that we are on a journey of expansion as opposed to a finite destination, you're always expanding, you're always building, you're always creating. That is your eternal truth. So what it is yes, you start by doing things that you say, okay, let me try this, let me do this. I believe that this is the direction I can go, and that's okay, even though that might be not. You will pivot, you'll change, you will shift. And it's okay to do that at the beginning because you have to do that in order to know what the next thing is. There's a precursor to knowing is the unknowing. There's a journey, there's a process, there's a B, C, D, E, F, G. And so that was the journey that I was on. I did this. Okay. Then I did B, I did C. And then as you move through that journey, the journey, not the destination, it's always the journey, you will truly discover what your purpose really is. So it's in the doing and not being afraid to make mistakes because the mistake is the precursor to doing something better or discovering what you should really be doing. And so, you know what? I never wanted to be somebody that wanted to be in front of cameras. I never wanted to be that person. I'm really a hermit. And so that was another hesitation that I had. And that was one of the reasons why I didn't do a lot of some of the things that I should have been doing earlier, but I understood it was about the journey. And so that's why it took me some years to really figure out, oh, I am here to empower others as a healer using metaphysical principles, energetic principles, I Ching, feng shui, these astrology, numerology. I am here using those tools to be able to empower my fellow humans to meet their highest potential as a spiritual being of eternal uh, potential, eternal possibilities. And so so I don't look at what I did previously as any mistake. It's the process, it's the journey of understanding what you're really here to do. And
Yeah,
some people get it faster. Some people get it faster, but some people it takes more time. There's
well,
no there's no one way. It's oranges and apples.
I love this. There's the part that's running through me is like it's like, all right, well, now time is also we've changed the paradigm of time. We have our physical time right now, but it's
Uh-huh.
also like time. It might be like, all right, another iteration. We'll get we'll
Right.
get it the whole next time we come by.
Right.
That's one thing that's flowing to me. And then I really loved when you said like basically the precursor of knowing is the unknowing. And I feel like there's a
Absolutely.
space in that, outliers. Like, yeah, like we do great things. Like we make things happen. We keep challenging ourselves and growing. And but I also love this space of of being it, like embracing and understanding the unknowing. It actually makes it feel as though it isn't wrong. It's part
That's
of the
right.
experience.
Absolutely, Niiamah. You hit the nail on the head. There's really, in a spiritual sense, there's no bad decision. And
Mm,
yes, you could say, yes, in a practical sense, there is. Because if you make a bad decision in finance, you could lose a lot of money. So there's that, again, that physical sense, right? But in a spiritual sense, there's no bad decision because you had to go through that in order to evolve. So even if you lost like 100,000, that's why even the things where I've made mistakes,
mhm.
I'm like, now I look says, you know what? That's part of my soul's journey. That's part and parcel of it. And I have made some bigger mistakes in my life. Trust me. I have made some big mistakes. I have made small mistakes. I have made old mistakes, but I understand that it's the journey of my soul. And so in a spiritual sense, there's no bad decision.
Mm.
In a practical sense, yeah, sometimes you see people, they always in these bad relationships, right? And you're like, all you do is repeat bad relationship from one person to another person to another person. You're like, why do you keep making this? Because your soul needs to learn something. That's why you keep in those bad, you're staying in those bad relationships because your soul needs to learn, and you need to stay in those bad relationships. And some of these relationships could be incredibly horrific and toxic, right? We see it. It's just like you can't even watch it. But that soul needs to stay there because it hasn't learned that lesson. And so, in a spiritual sense, everybody has a journey that you cannot judge or compare because some souls are ready in this life and some souls are not ready
Mm, mm.
until maybe their 100th life or whatever it is.
I am so thrilled that we had this conversation here. I'm glad that we're talking. I feel expansive. I feel connected to the soul here. I just looked at it. It's like we're coming up on time here, so like we're gonna start wrapping up the conversation here. Outliers. So I'm just thinking about this mood about our 3 hour conversation. We're like we're
Yeah.
not we're not ready for that, but
Yeah.
I
We
think we
could
should
do it
have
again,
another one of these.
Yama.
Let's
Yeah. In
bring
the
you
right
back on.
time,
Let's
in divine
yeah.
timing, I'm sure we'll do it again. Because
uh,
you know how much I love your soul. You're
no,
beautiful. And you
same
know
here.
what? I love the space in your teeth. It reminds me of my late sister's son.
Yeah.
The one that I said passed away. And she
Mhm.
had a space here in
Yeah.
between. And I
Yeah.
thought it was the most charming thing that there ever was.
Oh,
Don't
thank let
ever fix it.
No,
That's
no,
what
no,
makes
no.
you
It's not broken.
Niiamah.
There's nothing to fix.
I
Like
love it.
that's the
I love
biggest
it.
gift. Yeah,
I
the
love it. I
biggest
just
gift
want
my
you to
parents
know,
gave me. Yeah.
your smile makes me happy and joyous.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Moon. Well, we're going to wrap up for
Okay.
today. The way that we wrap up is in two ways. We make sure the outliers know how they can go deeper down the journey with you.
Yeah.
And then, like, for us, like, I say that every single conversation should be a life-changing conversation. And so I'd love to get like some kind of insight from you. Like what's something that you're taking away as a result of this whole experience, maybe even before we even like hit record or went live on this year. But if there's something that you're taking away from this conversation, Moon, I would love if you'd be open to sharing that. And if there's nothing, don't make something up. Like we don't have to create something that's not
No,
there.
the what I'm taking away is really your beautiful energy, Niiamah.
Mm,
That's what I've really enjoyed in this conversation is just your ability to keep your heart and mind open
mm,
and to be able to be mindful when you're taking in information and saying, okay, let me check with my heart. Let me check with my inner world if this resonates me. And your openness to the way other people might think and believe, and your openness to spirituality and to these metaphysical arts, metaphysical concepts, metaphysical things, to help your audience to reach their potential, or your clients or whomever to reach their potential. So I would say the biggest thing is just your beautiful energy that
mm.
I feel from you, and I'm a great reader of energy, and I think that's what really inspired me was you, actually, to tell you the truth. It's just your beautiful energy.
I mean, I want to say, let me receive that firstly. I want to just like deflect it. So thank you. And then secondly, I want to say thank you to you because there's something came online when we started talking, and there was a lot of doubts and like thoughts in my head around like, oh, I should be showing up like sharper, more polished, XYZ, and you invited flow, and you
Yeah.
reminded me about flow, and you reminded me about like this doesn't have to like this is not an intellectual exercise. This is
No,
the act of the souls, two spirits be it coming together and expanding beyond that together here. So,
that's
uh,
right.
can you remind us one more time how people can go deeper into your world?
So Instagram.com/yin yin and andyang living, or you just could just go on my website at yinyangliving.com, yinandyandyang living.com. And so I will be offering live group sessions, like with maybe 6 people in a Zoom, where you can actually ask me, because I get DMs all the time of people wanting my advice. And so I resisted it for a long time. So I decided that I would just open that up, and we're putting up a page where you could sign up on a Calendly, and I'll go on and you can ask me direct questions on Zoom. It's all live. There's no email, because there's no, so if anybody tries to reach out to you via email to do a session, that's not me. That's somebody who's trying to pretend to be me. So I'm going to be opening that up soon and doing other things probably. And, hopefully Niiamah and I will get together again in the future in divine timing,
Oh
as it
yes.
should.
Oh yes, everything works out as it should. Well, thank you so much, there,
You're
Moon. Outliers. We're going to wrap up this conversation. We'll be coming back in just a bit with another Outliers Edge live. So like you can stay on to come in and be with that. But until the next time we talk, be you on purpose. Journey
Oh,
on.
that's beautiful. Thank